Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, this is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Always like to start talking to you about what it means to be a warrior, and the definition of a warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. If you are not new to us, you know that I'm going to explain that means that everybody in the world is a warrior to a certain extent. You do not have to be brave and you do not have to be a soldier. But if you have any experience in life, which we all do, and you've ever had to fight through something, then you meet 2 of the 4 required criteria, and that makes you a warrior. And we always like to talk to you a little bit about stuff that could potentially give you a little bit of, I guess, just an idea that you're not alone. Whatever it is you may be combating and thinking that you can't take on, someone else is probably fighting the same fight. And there are others, most times, there's nothing new under the sun is what the Bible says. So most times there is somebody else who has already fought and overcome what you are dealing with. And that's not to diminish or take away from how tough your situation is. It's actually, in fact, to do the opposite. It should bring you hope, to let you know that as long as you persist in the fight and you persevere, that there is a light that can come at the end of that tunnel. And I have an example of a child. He's coming back to me to start training here shortly. He's, I believe, 16 now. And his mom brought him to Debbie and I a couple years ago, I guess when he was 14, something like that.
Fatty liver disease.
And he had fatty liver disease, and they were talking about doing surgery, correct? Is that what the situation was?
No, they were talking about medication, like medicating him for a couple different things. But at that age, I think she just really did
it was just tough. Yeah, because it was going to be a pretty severe, pretty severe medication.
Yeah.
And when he came in, he was very, very tired. He was lethargic. Like the way he moved was very slow. And he's a tall guy, and he was a little bit heavier. And, his eyes, like the whites of his eyes were very yellow. He just did not look like he felt well, And so he started training with me. And in the beginning, he was very slow, very sluggish. Like, he wouldn't really talk and, couldn't really communicate between the sets. And then the sets were a little bit slower and not very heavy, and you could just tell it was really hard on him, but he kept showing up. That's the point I want to get across here. He showed up. So he came to his sessions. He did what I asked him to do. His mom dove in head first on the nutrition with him. Like, she went over the top.
Most impressive parents.
Yes, to just make sure that she could do all she needed to do to keep him well. And it was.
She took like a week off work
to even start the prep.
Entire kitchen.
Yeah.
She bought books. She did everything I asked her to do.
And it was just impressive because you could see the thought that we really need to take this on. And I do think that's something that we struggle with is we'll get into situations and we know we need to overcome something or we want something to go away, but we just don't tackle it like that. And anyway, long story to a conclusion, he changed radically. The whites of his eyes came back. His energy came back. He got to a place where he was
he lost like 30 pounds.
Lost like 30 pounds. He was hammering these workouts that I had him doing. He was talking while he did it. I could have him doing like incline treadmill at 30 inclines, which wins most people. And he's carrying a conversation while he does it. His energy went through the roof. The doctors no longer wanted to put him on the medication. They say his numbers had hit a point that they don't even know why a medication would have had to have been considered. It was that
the doctor was like, "This doesn't even make sense." Like,
right?
How could it?
What are you doing?
That fast?
Yeah,
they asked for
and
a phone number.
Right, yeah. And so it's like I say all of that to say the situation you're in is probably pretty bad. So I never take away from somebody. Your experience is all you know. You know, just because someone else has it worse than you doesn't mean you should not have it bad. And just because you have it worse than someone else doesn't mean you shouldn't try. You know, so whatever situation you're in, you need to look at it and say, what do I do to get myself out of this? Because I don't want to be here. And the pain of change, it may be worse for a short period of time than staying in the pain that you're in, but it will go away. And you have to be comfortable in your discomfort. And that's where a lot of people are, is they're uncomfortable, they're in discomfort, they hate their life, they hate their weight, they hate how they feel, they hate, but they don't change anything. You've gotten comfortable there. And the fear of either trying and failing or how bad something might hurt stops them from actually getting to live the life they want to live. Well, this boy, he didn't allow that to happen. So he's gone on. He's a gamer. He knew he wanted to make something of video gaming. His mom wasn't sure exactly what that looked like. I even kind of coached him through that. I'm a little bit of a nerd. He is now in high school. His high school actually has an esports team. And for those of you that are listening that don't know what that is, I understand. That is a team at a school that literally plays video games now. He has become the captain of that. So this shy guy who had barely had the energy to do anything is now the captain of a video game team of these people. And there is actually competitions, and there is state. And he went to state, and they took second place last year. And there's collegiate, what's the word I'm looking for here? Scholarships now for this stuff too. Just like, scholarships for playing football. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to be on his way to that because he's that good. And so at the end of the day, with this kid, his mom, he could have just went on a medication. He probably still wouldn't have felt well. He never would have probably thought he could have overcome that. And it could have absolutely changed the trajectory of his life, much like he's had changed now. So whatever you're in, whatever you're dealing with, just know there are other people dealing with the same thing. There are other people that have overcome something similar to what you've had to, or what you need to overcome. And if you can't do it alone, that's actually okay too. Find somebody that can help you. He and his mom would not have been okay without us. Now, that's not to give us glory. What that is God has given us a specific skill set to help people, and they sought out people that knew how to work the craft that would make them feel better. If your problem is that you don't think your car is going to get you to work, take it to a mechanic. If your problem is that you don't know how to fix your HVAC so you don't have heat in this 7-degree weather, call an HVAC expert. If your problem is that you don't know how to get your health right, you don't know how to get your fitness right, call us. We'll help you with that. If there's another layer that we can't help you through, we'll set you up with the right doctors. We'll set you up with the right contacts that we have. We'll set you up with the right chiropractor. But surrounding yourself with like-minded people that are trying to overcome the same thing is actually how success happens. God designed us to be creatures around other creatures. We're supposed to be with like-minded individuals. We're supposed to be with other human beings. And that's actually what's going to cause us to thrive, is working together as a community to overcome whatever it is we're dealing with.
Integrity is definitely a community of warriors. It really is. It's like every age, you have this 13-year-old that comes in, and like everyone knows the transformation that he's had. I mean, and when I say everyone, like, you don't understand. He would come in 3 days a week, and during those times, there's a group of people that are always there, and people see the transformation, and they see how different he acts and how much more he communicates and how effectively he's communicating, just how different of a child he is. And they see his mom, and his mom is healthier, and she's lost weight.
Yeah, by proxy, just by doing the same
right,
thing.
and she feels different. And so everyone in the gym is like rooting him on. And then suddenly, they're like, booyah, like, we've done it too, brother. Like, we're with you. Like, here's my story. Here's how I battled. And here's your story and how you battled. Now, suddenly there's this connection for this 13-year-old with a 75-year-old that is a competitive bodybuilder, with a 42-year-old that is a professional whatever with an MMA person with, just with all
That's
these
what
different
I-
people. And he now has this whole crew of people
That's what
that
I
believe
think I
in him.
love about our facility. And at the end of the day, if you don't know the story of our company, we used to operate out of 6 different gyms, and then we ended up retracting into our own that we actually own. We used to not own the brick and mortar, but now we've fallen into that position. And the reason we did that is we felt we could never control the climate or the whatever you want to call it, the air of the facility. And that's one thing that people that come to our facility tell us, is that it feels like a family. It feels like a home. The acceptance is completely there. There's nobody that feels out of place, and everybody roots everybody on. I always say we're like the Cheers without beers, right? Because everybody at least kind of knows your face, but they may not know your name.
Absolutely. Even at age 13. So congratulations to him. And he is by all means a warrior. Like, he should be knighted for sure. He has definitely done the work. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems for a 6-month nutrition program or for personal training, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from My Personal Bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed meat, the only beef that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking to you about what it means to be a warrior. And we are at the beginning of the year. We are here in January. And I want to ask you, have you started the process of accomplishing your New Year's resolutions? Yep, that silence was for you to think about it. If the answer is no, the next question is why? Okay, so here's the thing. New Year's resolutions are amazing. I think that, the people who are like, oh, I hate New Year's resolutions, especially in the gym, they take up my bench. It's like, well, then go help them figure out how they should do what they do instead of waiting until they don't come anymore. But as a whole, New Year's resolutions, whether it has to do with the gym or it just has to do with anything in your life, it's amazing because the end of the year signifies a change, and the beginning of the year signifies an ability to make a change. And it just gives us a moment to actually think about something that we may not be doing that we would like to see done. The problem with resolutions in the beginning of the year is not that they're made, it's that they never get accomplished because nobody makes a plan on what to do with them. And that is something that even going into the beginning of the year, if you listen to the show regularly, you heard me talk about, is when you write down what your goals are, what your resolutions are, you need to immediately write down next to it how you're going to start that process. Okay, my goal is to get in shape this year. All right, have you ever been in shape? Have you ever gotten in shape? What did you do to do that? How are you going to do it this time? If the answer to all that is no, you have no idea what you're talking about. Did you write down, I'm going to hire somebody? Have you done that yet? If you said that you're going to try to get a promotion at work because you want to make more money, what have you started doing? Are you going in a little bit earlier? Did you write that down? I'm going to go in a little bit earlier. I'm going to accomplish tasks faster. Are you doing that? If you just wrote down or even just thought about what you want to do, and we're already approaching halfway through January, promise you this year's going to start to get away from you. So it's not too late. Sit down. If you wrote the goals down, great. If you didn't write them down, and write down a plan of action to get after that. Write down a plan of action to actually accomplish what it is that you want to see done. Because if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it for you. And in 2026, you're going to write the same thing down. And listen, we're all guilty of it. I said going into this year that I was going to learn to play the guitar. Debbie bought me a really nice guitar for my birthday. My birthday is January 1st, 3 years ago. Not this year. I haven't waited two weeks. I've waited 3 years and 2 weeks to get started on playing my guitar. So this year I said I'm going to learn to play the guitar, and I wrote down that I was going to hire somebody to teach me. I haven't done that yet. So just writing it down doesn't do it for you either. So if I have to find a way within the next week before I come talk to you again to say that I have hired or at least researched somebody that can teach me to play the guitar, what are you going to do to accomplish whatever it is that you're looking to get done this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also one thing I would consider doing is when you're writing down these resolutions and or goals, what I would consider doing is writing down much smaller steps to those.
Right.
So
Process.
yes, your steps might be, or your resolution might be, I want to get in shape. Your resolution might be, I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. But what I would do is I would say in the month of January, I want to lose 8 pounds. And let's be somewhat realistic with some of this. In the month of January, in the first 2 weeks of January, I want to start grocery shopping on a weekly basis, and really start narrowing down how you're going to make changes. Yes, that top of the list can say, I want to get healthier. The top of the list can say, I want to lose weight. But here's some of these tools and check marks that I can give myself. Okay, after 2 weeks, have I done grocery shopping every week? Yes, awesome. Have I started to walk for 10 minutes after every meal? Yes, awesome. Have I, designed a formula for how I can eat each day? And if I don't know how to do that, or I don't know what that looks like, have I set up an appointment to meet with the person that does?
Key. You don't know these steps,
Yeah.
then get help with them.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about dieting is that, there are a lot of diets out there. But unfortunately, when you're on a diet, you oftentimes are not fueled properly. Like your sources of fuel become so limited that you truly do not feel sustained.
Right, which causes you to be like and think, when do I not diet anymore? When do I come off this?
Right, and you don't feel nourished, and so your overall nutrition really starts to shift, and the body really truly is not in a healthier state. And so what I always suggest is instead of going into a diet, I say look at the next year and say, I'm ready to be in the best health I have ever been in my life. I want my digestion to be good. I do not want to feel bloated anymore. I do not want to have headaches anymore. I'm done with migraines. I'm tired of dealing with breakouts. I'm tired of dealing with eczema. I'm tired of taking, some type of Allegra or some type of Claritin every day because I have allergies. These are things that I don't want to deal with anymore, all of which can be controlled by how you eat and how you drink. So if we look at it from the perspective of I'm just going to work my heart out to get to the best health possible, I can guarantee you that you are going to lose weight through that process because you're going to lower your histamine levels and you're going to reduce inflammation. But when you're thinking about choosing the diet or selecting the way that you're going to eat, it's so important to really try to embrace the possibility that there is a plan that you could follow that you honestly could potentially follow for the rest of your life and really achieve optimal health with that plan, never really having to change it ever again.
Right.
Every now and again, occasionally having an off meal, but really just finding a rhythm that keeps you very well nourished, very well balanced, not craving on the regular, and just really feeling good. It's just when you start to do such a restricted diet like keto, which I have no issue with, or just really specific targeted diets, what's going to happen is if you're not doing them 100%, you are going to get hungry, you are going to have cravings, and you are going to fail. And then what happens after you get off that diet? You go back on what? You don't have the plan to follow when you're off of those plans. So ultimately, if you can work with someone that can give you a lifestyle plan, a lifelong plan, it's going to change all those health markers we talked about, and it's going to help you lose weight, and you're going to know what to do at the end of that goal. But like I said, as it starts, start putting a lot of really small check marks down, things that you can check off, small movements that you can check off along the way instead of just one big decision to make a change. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with us at Integrity or for personal training, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3, talking about what you're doing with yourself here at the beginning of 2025. I've been trying to come up with like statements, right, for 2025, like, you know, had to serve, like, what was it? 2024 had to survive so that we can thrive in 2025, right? Like, I've just been throwing stuff together, and I realized there's not a lot of things that rhyme with I've, other than like beehive. I'll get back to you. I'm going to come up with a good one, okay? Because I don't like new year, new you, because we've been saying that for 2,000 years, okay? So we're going to come up with something new. But we were talking about like getting to the goal of changing your life, and Deb at the end of last segment got into what we do for a living, which is helping people with their health. And I wanted to say, I know a lot of people that look great that aren't healthy. And I don't know many people that are healthy that don't look great. So I'm going to say that again. I know a lot of people that aren't healthy that look great. And I know a lot of people, or I don't know many people that are healthy that don't look great. And what I mean by that is exactly what Deb was saying with dieting. Like, I know plenty of people that will quote unquote diet, and they'll feel like crap, and their calories are too deficited, and they're not getting the micronutrients that they need, but they're just following their macro plan, or they've gone into something extreme, like they've gone from eating Jack in the Box and McDonald's every day straight into keto. Again, nothing against keto. It's just an example of an extreme if you're not already eating clean and doing something that's just the next step of. And then they're like losing weight dramatically, and they're so excited about the weight. They don't really care about the fact that they feel like falling asleep all the hours of the day that they're awake. And I also know people who genetically are just capable of looking great, and then they eat garbage. And so, unfortunately, that's what the world is pitching to people. So if you're someone that's trying to be thinner or lose more weight, you think that these are the approaches. But what we're challenging you to do is put your health first. Make yourself healthy. Get your numbers right. Make your blood panel look good. Get yourself where you have energy all day. You don't feel lethargy. Like the kid we talked about in the first segment. He got his life back. Then he started to look like a rock star. He's tall, thin. He's got a good build on him now. You know, it's like if you're thinking you want to look good at your wedding that's coming up, if you're thinking you want to look good on the beach, like, why wouldn't you just tackle feeling well and then let looking good come with it? You know, if you're going to go nutso for the next 90 days so that you can look good on the beach, what happens after that? Nothing? Are you going to fall back to where you started, or potentially even worse, until the next, moment happens that you feel you have to get in shape for? Or do you just want to be healthy and well and actually enjoy your life and potentially feel good enough to do the things that are required to look the way you want to look, and then just never fall away from it?
Well, what do you think it is that keeps people from staying on track?
Oh, I think there's a lot of things that keep people from staying on track. And I think it's discipline. People, instead of implementing disciplinary tactic, they hang on to motivation. The motivation is that I want to fit good in my wedding dress. The motivation is that I've got this bathing suit that I want to wear. And so they stay motivated. They hit the gym. They're motivated to eat their food clean. And then the time comes where they're in the wedding dress, and literally that night they gorge. Or the time comes that they are wearing that bikini, and the week that they're out of town wearing that bikini, they start to gorge. They're drinking, they're having drinks, eating food, and by the time they leave to come home, they've actually already started back to where they started. because the motivation is gone because they've done the goal. They've reached the prize. And so they don't ever implement the disciplinary tactic that makes them come back from that event and say, I have to continue on my food. I also think there's just stumbling stones. There's things that, people aren't prepared for. They don't know what to do when their discipline gets disrupted if they try to implement it. They don't know how to say no at a party. They don't know how to tell their family no, and so they're trying. They actually do try, but they don't know what to do when something knocks them down for a moment, and I tell people, like, I have no problem with goals, but I think the problem with a goal is a lot of times, like I just said, if we accomplish it, we meander and we spin. So I always ask people, like, what is a short-term goal? What is a long-term goal? But also, what's the end game? Nobody thinks about the end game. Short-term goal, like Deb said, I'm going to shop the next 2 weeks so I can start meal prepping. I'm going to get myself to where I can start to meal prep. Long-term goal, I know I want to lose 40 pounds. So I'm going to start the shopping. I'm going to start making my own food. I'm going to lose the 40 pounds. Well, what happens after the 40 pounds? Yeah, you can set another short-term goal and a long-term goal, but if you get to that goal and you haven't done that, you might become the New Year's resolutionist that I'm talking about, where you pick something, but you don't have a plan of action to accomplish it, so you just never do. So end game should be feeling well. The end game should always be to get to live the best life that you can live. And JFK had what do you call that, where the president stands before a speech, maybe, like, there's a formal name for it, but he gave a speech where he talked about our nation and how great our nation was. And he said what would totally get him canceled today, he thinks there's nothing worse than having a nation of chubby, fat children who don't get to live their best life. I'm paraphrasing. The first two words were his, though. And what he continues, if that wouldn't be pulled out of context, to say is, in our country, our great country of opportunity, that these children deserve to be given the ability to live their best life, to have an adventurous and fun-filled life. That should be your goal. I'm not just talking about children. I'm talking to you adults, too. Like, are you living a fulfilled life? Are you excited to wake up every day? Do you have the energy to wake up every day? Or do you wake up and have to go slam an energy drink? Been there, done that. What happens on the back end of that energy drink? I can tell you right now, I know it's not good. So are you actually getting to live your life? If you set that as your end game, and then you start putting the stepping stones in place that Debbie was talking about, then you actually are set up for success. But if you're running off motivation of getting to a goal and then being done with the goal, and I can't wait to get off this diet, if you're saying that already, I'm telling you right now, you're spiraling towards a problem.
There was a post the other day that I posted on that, said something like, my kid will only eat Cheetos and fruit punch or something like that.
Oh boy, I'd like to see your post on that.
And I just, there were several people that said things, but it was like, your kid will only eat that because that's what you're giving your kid. And yes, it is difficult sometimes to make our kids eat things. It really wasn't for us. I mean, only thing my kid wouldn't eat was cantaloupe and mushrooms, and now she eats mushrooms. I think she actually even eats
pretty
cantaloupe.
Wild, yeah.
But I mean, she just has always ate what we've asked her to eat, and that's with going to another household where they ate junk food all the time. But the reality is that that kid only eats that because he's been allowed to only eat that. Now, the reason that I am so regimented on my food is because I have a lot of responsibilities. Number one, to God. I have a mighty mission that he's called me for, a great vision to help people, to serve people, to save lives. Maybe you're lacking in vision. Maybe you don't actually have a godly vision. Maybe you're actually not even serving God. Maybe you don't even know God. Okay, maybe we need to actually break down the reason that you're not eating food right. And at the end of the day, food can almost become a gap filler. You're filling a void. You're filling a gap. And
it's
you're
the
not.
Same thing people do with heroin and alcohol.
And so at the end of the day, the primary reason why I eat so strong and so faithfully and so committed to my eating is who I'm responsible to. Number one, temple of the Holy Spirit, my body, God. He is my number one person I'm responsible to. The mighty vision that he's given me, the amount of people that depend on me to be healthy is ridiculous.
You have like 3, right?
And it's growing
It's
every
huge.
single day. Okay. And I cannot have a day where I'm not okay. And the reality of it is that I'm not so selfish and so self-centered that I will keep eating garbage so that I don't make the money I need to make. I don't show up at work when I need to show up for my employees and for my clients. I don't do the work at home that I need to do. And I don't do the work for the kingdom and for God because I ate too much garbage food. I created a new recipe this week or last weekend, and I am allergic to a lot. So I don't always get to try my recipes. This one I very intentionally made with coconut flour so that I could try it. Now, I'm trying it with, this amount of this in it. And then I'm trying it to test the edges to see if they're crispy, to test the center to see if it's moist. Then I'm making it into a brownie. And then I'm trying the edges on that. And I'm trying the center on that. I made myself so sick yesterday that I thought I was going to throw up at any given moment throughout the day, just simply from having to taste test these cookies, brownies, all these things. Now, I enjoyed every taste test of them. They were absolutely delicious. But I had things that had to be done yesterday. I had a client and a friend who lost her father. I wasn't going to cancel on her. I needed church. I needed to do things with my husband. I had places that I needed to be. I literally had to almost sleep in the car on the way to a place. And I thought to myself, I can't do this to my husband. I can't do this to my family. I can't do this to my job. I can't do this to my clients. Now, I didn't go out on a binge to just blow off life, but people do. And they're doing that every single day. And they're not capable of doing their life right because they're doing it. That's not how we want to start this year. Center yourself. Figure out what your vision is for your future. What's God called you to? What is it? If it's not your job and it's how you serve outside of your job, then stay focused on it and recognize that food is the fuel. It is what will close the gap from lethargy to absolute success. You need focus. You need energy. You need to be able to be the best version of yourself for this call and this purpose that God has on your life. And the more you keep going down this path of eating this and eating that because it makes you happy and because it helps you when you're sad and it helps you when you're mad and it's more fun, when you're with friends, and it's more fun when you're hanging out by yourself, and it tastes so much better than the green beans and so much better than the chicken. It's all selfishness. Get on your food, get focused, get yourself strong and stay strong. Stay committed to healthy living. The world needs it right now. Your family needs it right now. Your business needs it right now. It is such an incredible tool for leveling you up, for moving the needle, and for longevity purposes and keeping you here, serving that call and purpose that God has for your life. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with us at Integrity or for personal training, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten and dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from My Personal Bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Talking to you about what's going on in this new year. If you're setting any precedents on your health, making sure that you're able to even tackle your Deb was talking in the last segment about fulfilling call and purpose, and she was talking about why people eat the things they eat. So it's like that kind of, we start to get beyond this idea of laziness or lack of desire or lack of motivation or lack of discipline. And something that we talk about pretty regularly that the world doesn't even really talk about is how food is actually an addiction. And there are properties in certain foods that are addicting. Like there are certain things, certain flavors, certain ingredients that are addicting. But even beyond the addictive ingredients, there is the neurological component, like what actually occurs when you eat something that you enjoy that isn't good for you. So if it's contributing to your diabetes, it's contributing to your brain fog, it's contributing to your weight that you know your body should not have on you, and you're eating it for the sake of feeling happy or getting to have a good flavor, that's really no different than the high you get from cocaine. And people will be like, oh, yeah, come on, man. You really think food's as bad as cocaine? Yes. And let me tell you, I challenge you, look up, use Google, let the AI tell you how many deaths on average a year are linked to cocaine and how many deaths on average a year are linked to food. And then tell me which one's more dangerous. Because, yeah, in the moment, cocaine is going to be worse than Skittles. I hear you. I'm not trying to claim that it's not. But what I am telling you is the ease of access to food, the ease of use of food, the ability to pick it up wherever you want to pick it up, and the acceptance of food is actually what makes it so dangerous. There's a guy online, and I should be able to quote his name. I always forget his name. That makes me feel terrible. But he did a message. He's not a preacher. He's just a guy that speaks. And he did a message about food being Satan's secret weapon. And I love it. The concept is that Satan has been using food to trip people up since the beginning of time. And the very first use of food was actually in the garden, Adam and Eve. The sin was not the apple. The sin was not the fruit of the tree. The sin was the disobedience through the consumption. The food was just the catalyst that created the problem. And that's usually what food actually is. Like, you know, going out and slamming the pasta and having 6 glasses of wine, the food's not the problem. It's what comes out of it. It's the brain fog. It's the feeling like crap. It's the not going to work the next day. It's the not being positive for your children. Those are the actual problems. The food's just the catalyst. The next thing that the Bible talks about with food is Satan attempted to use it to tempt Jesus. Jesus was actually the only one intelligent enough to say, hey, listen, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. And it was interesting when he tempted him. He tempted him while he was on a fast. I believe it was a 40-day, 40-night fast that he was doing. And he was in the wilderness to become closer to his Father. And Satan showed up. The only 2 things that Satan ever tempted Jesus with was food. He told him that he should turn the stones into bread. And then he tempted him with suicide, basically told him to jump and surely angels will catch you and not let you fall to your death. And Jesus turned Satan away. Okay. But it was bread when he was hungry. He's like, hey man, like you're hungry. Why don't you just go ahead and make those rocks bread? No big deal. You know, and I find that fascinating that he's in the wilderness. He's actually trying to better himself. Guys, you're dealing with that all day long. You're trying to better yourself, and your friends and family are saying like, hey man, like it's just one thing. You can't have one thing. You do so good around that. And the final point that the Bible makes in regards to like food that's fairly interesting to me is you have a large group of people wandering, looking for the promised land. Okay, they've left bondage, they've left slavery, and they're being promised this land that they're on their way to. And they're being provided manna. And from all of my studies, what I have found is manna is essentially like a Lara bar. Okay, so it's got the nutrients you need in it to survive. It's probably a tar, like tacky tarish, like taffy or a bar. But it's provided all day, every day. So that nutritionally, health-wise, nutrient-wise, these people are provided for. And they start murmuring, they start complaining. And what they say is that they miss the salts of the meats that they used to get, and that they're willing to return to slavery and bondage for that food. That's pretty powerful. You're in slavery. You're dying from being whipped. Your friends and family are dying from being worked to death. And you're willing to go back to that for salted meat. That's wild. We're doing that every day, guys. As a society, we are doing that every day. You are going back to bondage so that you can have that cheeseburger. You are going back to bondage so you can have that glass of red wine. You are staying stuck. You are staying in the loop. You are not bettering your life. I know this is intense, but I'm telling you, if you have something that you say you need or you have to have, what are you feeding? If it doesn't have nutritional value and it's not feeding your spirit, which means that your body isn't actually benefiting from it, your spirit's not benefiting from it, you are feeding your flesh. And most Americans will actually dig their grave with a knife and a fork. What are you eating?
I just think that you have to just fall head over heels in love with feeling great. And you just have to be so committed and so driven, like an entrepreneur, like the president of a company, like the leader of the nation. You just have to be so committed to excellence and want success for your life and recognize that food is the catalyst for all of that change. You will be better in every area of your life. You will be better in your relationships. You will be better at work. You will be better with your children. You will be better with the Lord and closer and draw closer to him. You just have to be so in love with that. You want to chase after that with all of your might, because it's what's going to take your life to the next level. It's what's going to help you financially. It's what's going to build your relationship stronger with your spouse, with your kids, and it's what's going to help you to level up in that job or with that company that you own. Your food is the start of it, and then your exercise and your movement becomes it, to the point to where you say to yourself, I will not take shortcuts. I will not eat this garbage. I will not eat this poison. When I pull up to the fast food place, when I pull up to the bakery, when I pull up to the gas station, I'm going to put on the brakes, and I'm going to keep myself from walking into that building, because I know what's on the other end of it, and none of it is success.
And the feeling good that Debbie's telling you to fall in love with, you've got to remember that you've been doing some stuff that's been off your whole life. So however old you are, you can't expect the feel good to happen tomorrow. So when it doesn't, you might actually feel worse before you feel better. So you got to kind of buckle up. You got to put your armor on. You got to be ready. Like, be willing to love feeling well so good that you're going to tackle the feeling bad that comes before it.
But you need to be organized with it. You need to be detailed with it. And you really, really need to be well nourished. That, like, our first month on nutrition is to get a person anti-inflammatory results, right, and to help them to understand that they can feel nourished, they can feel balanced. And if you're just trying to do it on your own, you may never accomplish that. You may never really get to that point to where you feel that great. And that might be the number one reason why you keep stumbling.
Yeah.
And the first time that you stumble, have someone help you get out of that and get out of it quickly so you can get yourself back on track and stay into that committed state. It's when you fall off and you don't know how to get back on, and then you keep going back, and you can't get back into that rhythm again. There are people that can help you with that. I mean, that's my job. That's what I do. I give people the tools to get right back on the horse. And it's not just mind games. There are actual foods. There's actually things that you can do with your food to help better equip you to get back on track and to feel like you can stay on your food. And that's my job. Let us help you with that. We have a 6-month nutrition program. I also have 46 hours of nutrition and cooking teaching in my master's course, my online downloadable master's course on our website. I have a subscription program where you can spend an hour with me every other week, and it's on sale right now for only $19.99. There are so many tools and techniques and ways that you can get information about nutrition. Take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com, or even for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from My Personal Bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.